I'd like to take us all back to 2020, by far the weirdest year of my personal existence. The world was in lockdown, most of us were stuck at home desperately trying to find anything, literally anything to entertain us. Movies, sometimes it was video games like Warzone, or even just maybe drugs. We all had to find something. For me, that thing was anime. Now, I had never watched much anime in my entire life before 2020. I had found it to be very, just not really my thing. I always thought of anime as its stereotypes, these kind of like big naked octopus type weird stuff that you imagine being in anime.
It's about a brother and a sister that fuck.
That's what I thought when I heard the words anime. And then I watched a little show called Attack on Titan, and about 50 other shows. I couldn't stop watching. Once I had discovered this form of storytelling, this art, and this animation style, I felt as though my life had kind of changed forever. And I officially can say today that I love anime and have a strong appreciation for the art form. In today's video, I'm going to be outlining my top 10 favorite anime series of all time. And yes, I use the word my. I haven't seen every anime ever, nor does my opinion reflect the consensus opinion I usually see online from all of you smelly virgins out there. So please do not get angry with me because I didn't rank some obscure anime show whose name I can't pronounce as number one, okay? Just relax. This is my list. These are the shows that I personally like. Leave the shows that you like down below, and we can have a discussion. Maybe you can recommend some shows to me. But yeah, let's jump right in. This show is consistently ranked in the top 5 of pretty much any top anime list you can ever find, but it usually also ranks number 1 on most overrated anime lists. I sort of agree with both. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is an incredibly emotional journey into this well-built world centering around these two brothers, Edward and Alphonse, as they search for the Philosopher's Stone, hoping to use its power to restore their bodies after a terrible accident. The characters in this show are what completely carry it, with the hero's journey of our main leads being thoughtful and strong, as well as the side characters, mainly the badass Roy Mustang, all getting their moments throughout the series. The animation is stunning, and the fights and battles get better and better as you go throughout the series. I watched the English dub on this one, and I really appreciated hearing Troy Baker's work on the character Greed. My only complaint on the show is the pacing does sometimes suffer near the middle, but the entire run up until the final climatic battle is just so good and so satisfying overall. And overall, there's just a series that I think about quite often, if I'm going to be honest. This was the first long-form shonen show that I kind of watched, and to me, it's still one of the absolute best in the genre. I mean, My Hero follows a group of kids who live in this world that's infested with superheroes, and we follow them as they attend this superhero school and compete for the highest rankings and hone their abilities in and get stronger and better. The show is just so entertaining, with every single arc offering a new fun situation, battle, villains, characters, and deep stories for the audience to sink their teeth into. The characters are all great, and I think Deku is one of my favorite anime protagonists, so I'm going to be honest. The animation is nearly perfect. Some of the fights, I mean, god dang, man. Some of the fights in this show, especially in the newest season, are just unbelievable. My only gripe with this show is there are a few arcs in the middle that just kind of start recycling old plot threads, and they kind of just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and the show kind of takes a while at times to reinvent itself and start getting, pushing itself forward into new things. But overall, I really like My Hero Academia, and I look forward to it every single year when it comes back around. Tokyo Revengers was the first anime that I watched where I immediately had to go to the manga the moment after finishing the first season. And for all the ladies out there, when I say read a manga, what I actually mean is I went outside and I threw around a football and I did cool athletic people stuff. But honestly, the first season of the show kicked so much ass, and the second season was even better. I mean, the show just has a vibe and a feeling to it that's just so fucking cool. Like, I want to be in the Tokyo Manji gang so bad. And back to the ladies for a second, when I say I want to join the Tokyo Manji gang from Tokyo Revengers, what I actually mean is I want to go back outside and try not to be a loser.
I don't know, like other worlds where your dad still sees you as his own. Maybe I'm not Mark, who works at Arby's. Maybe I'm Onyx, the fortuitous, slayer of the Bright Realm. I don't know.
Takemichi might be a bit of an annoying protagonist, but there are parts to him that I really like, especially stuff that's going to be animated later from the manga. And overall, the show is just really great. The fights aren't crazy, the animation isn't something that's so mind-blowing, but just the vibe of this show is something I really, really dig. There is not a single person on planet Earth that I cannot recommend Vinland Saga to. This show is just balls to the wall, action-heavy, badassery, and it is so good for the first season. Second season, I'm not sure I'd recommend that to a lot of people, but overall, the second season is better than the first one. It really is. But the second season is this emotional journey, this slow burn on this farm where we really start to dig our teeth into these characters in this world and understand the emotional impacts of everything. And that's one of the reasons this show ranks so high. I think the first season is almost perfect. It's a great action adventure. It's got a revenge plot layered throughout, but all this great Game of Thrones-esque power struggles within, and it ultimately kind of feels like a complete story, which is why I was sort of shocked when I heard that there was a season 2, because I thought season 1 wrapped up in a good place. Its main characters kind of all came together and had pretty good arcs. Askeladd, who's one of my favorite characters, his arc definitely finished up, and I didn't exactly know how you continue this story and where it could really go, where it'd actually be interesting, but then season 2 came along, and it really found a way to reinvent itself in a way that not a lot of shows, not a lot of stories would have the balls to do, to resist the urge to go and do another gigantic action fest, and to tell a more slower, more thoughtful story, and to really dig into the history of the world. That took balls, and overall it worked out. Vinland Saga, both seasons, it's an adventure, it's a great journey. I recommend this show. It is awesome, and if you're somebody that's not into anime, start with this show. It's the perfect opening show for an anime person. I think Black Clover is fucking awesome, and I see a lot of people really hate on this show, people that watch a lot of the other big long-form shonen animes, but this is a show that I just could not get enough of, and I was so upset when it ended. I just wanted more and more and more of it. First off, let me talk about the world. The world of Black Clover is so cool. The power system with the magic and all of these characters and the different countries and the elves and the devils, like, it is so cool and so thought out, and, you know, maybe a little basic at times, but it just sets up so many different stories that could happen, that haven't happened yet. So many different battles that are just so awesome. The characters, specifically Asta. Like, Asta, yeah, early in the story, a lot of complaints are that he's annoying, but overall, the theme centered around Asta and the writing and how he's built up throughout the show is cool, and his fight scenes are awesome. All of the other side characters, specifically with the Black Bulls, you know, all of the characters are great. They all contribute to the story. They all get their moments. All of the arcs are well thought out, well paced, and you get this big build up in the middle of the show where we peak at this one big battle arc, this one big storyline, and it's amazing. And now the show's kind of building up to another big story arc, which I think will be the end of the show. And this one is also just great. The fights, some of the best fights you're ever going to see in anime or in Black Clover. Honestly, my favorite fight in any anime is in here. It's just so many great things here. The animation is unbelievable. The new movie that came out for it was great. Overall, I just love Black Clover. I think the world is cool. I think the fights are cool, and I just ate the shit out of this one. Here's one that I don't think you'll see on any other list. Death Parade is a show that I absolutely love. It's a really short anime. I think it's only 12 episodes, and it is just so good. It's such a simple story about this weird afterlife type system in which when you die, you sort of like play a game in this death parade that decides whether you get to be reincarnated or you get to enter this nothingness that is, you know, death. And this show just has so many little stories sprinkled throughout that are just so smartly written and so emotional and really deep, and I just really appreciated the entire package. And this show covered the idea of what is death, what is existence, and those are themes that I really love. And this show proves, because every other show on this list is pretty big, this show proves that you don't have to be big. You could be a very, very small story and be super impactful, which if you watch all my channels, you see it's typically what I like in film. I usually like the smaller, quieter movies that tell a really impactful and emotional story. And this is really the main focus on anime here that you'll see on this entire list, the main show that really fills that purpose. I enjoy the show. I recommend it. Not enough people have watched it. A lot of people watch Death Note and they just forget about Death Parade, but Death Parade is awesome. Now, One Piece was really the last show that I watched when I was peaking on my, like, anime binge. It was the show that I was just, like, it felt like this task that I needed to accomplish. I was not a real anime fan until I have caught up on One Piece and experienced the world of One Piece. And then I did, and then I got gassed out on anime. But either way, I'm caught up on One Piece. I've watched all 1,000-something episodes of it, and yeah, it's amazing. Which, of course, I'm gonna say it's amazing. There's no way anybody who's watched One Piece can say they don't like it, because nobody's gonna invest the time and effort it takes to watch One Piece and come out of it and say, oh, that was shit. Because if you do, you're a fucking moron. Why are you watching 1,000 episodes of something you don't like? That's just stupid. So yeah, I really liked One Piece. I mean, God, where do I start? The characters are amazing. I mean, Luffy is maybe the most iconic anime protagonist ever outside of, like, Naruto. The fights are great. great. The arcs are amazing. The first 500 episodes are nearly perfect, building up to the greatest arc in anime, Marineford. It's just so, so good. The music, I mean, oh my god, just listen to this. Listen, oh my god, it's amazing. The sense of adventure, the journey, all building up to, well, we don't know yet because we're still waiting for the ending, but I have a feeling that the ending of the show is going to be super satisfying. The ending of the manga is going to be really, really satisfying, and I'm excited to see where it goes. My only gripe with the show is, yeah, it's fucking long. And I'm sorry, I will not take the argument that this show needs to be as long as it does. There are a lot of crappy arcs here, a lot of arcs that I see people ranking at the top of their One Piece arcs and saying, these are the best arcs. Like, Skypiea was fucking stupid. I don't want to hear it. It was bad. We didn't need fucking 30 episodes of Skypiea or whatever it was. Fishman Island, like that whole arc was stupid. There are a lot of arcs that are just completely wastes of time that you can just pretty much skip or read like a one-page summary on what happens and just move on with your life. But I can't ignore the greatness of One Piece. It is amazing. Steins Gate is unbelievable. And I'm ranking both Steins Gate here and also the spin-off sort of sequel prequel show Steins Gate Zero, because I will talk about that as well. Steins Gate Zero is unbelievable. I am not a fan of time travel in stories at all. I hate time travel in movies. I hate it in storytelling. I think it is a cop-out. I think it is an easy way to excuse bad writing. I think it's a way that a lot of writers write themselves out of corners. I think it is just so goofy and it never really works in the majority of movies that you find it in. Steins Gate is the exception. Steins Gate not only understands time travel, but god fucking damn, it takes time travel and it does it in the only way it should ever be done. It is so smart, so intelligent with the way it handles like time loops, with destiny, with trying to change the future, with trying to impact the past. There are so many things in this show that are just chef's kiss. The emotion, the characters, the love story at the center of it. It is all just so beautiful and amazing, and this show builds up to an incredibly satisfying conclusion, and then you get to Steins Gate Zero that's like, you think that's good? You think that's good? Well, remember that one tiny little scene, that one little tiny nod at the end of the first Steins Gate? Well, let's make an entire show to explain how that happened and make it so much more emotional, where we're dealing with stuff like grief and moving on and accepting the fact that you can't change destiny and just stretching that out in another 20-something episodes. Perfect. I love this show. I love this world. I would love to see some sort of live-action American, version of this story. Maybe not a remake, but just something made for Hollywood and cinema, because it is so rich with deep, deep themes and storytelling. It is just so good. I recommend Steins Gate. Go watch it right now. I've seen other YouTubers refer to this show as Goat Geass because it is the goat of anime, or at least one of the goats. Code Geass is fucking spectacular. It's amazing. It has one of the best protagonists ever, not just in anime, but in storytelling in Lelouch. It is a badass war story in this incredibly built world of Britannia, which is just so deep with lore, and all the mech combat is great here. Lelouch himself is just such a great villain. I see people talk about Death Note, which, by the way, is not number one on this list. It's not on my list. I think Death Note's fine, but I see people talk about that show and Light and how awesome of a character, how smart he is, and then I'm like, how do you think he's the most smart and the most badass character in anime when Lelouch exists? This guy who is just this badass. He's like the Napoleon of anime. Everything he does in this show, the entire arc that he goes through of kind of taking over this country and becoming this strong, powerful person, all the way up until the twist ending that we get, which, God, it's one of the best animes in storytelling. It's so good, so surprising, and so beautiful at the same time. And just ultimately, Code Geass is an amazing show. I don't know why more people haven't watched it. It ranks number, top 3 on most lists for a reason. It's an amazing, amazing show. Another one that I wouldn't be opposed to seeing a live-action version of here in America, which I know a lot of people are going to be like, ooh, nobody wants to see live-action anime. Fuck you, I want to see it. Alright, a live-action Code Geass directed by, like, Denis Villeneuve. Like, let's get that shit made.
Give me what I want!
Yeah, Attack on Titan is not only one of the best animes ever, it's one of my favorite TV shows ever, and when I eventually make a list on my top 10 TV shows of all time, like, this will be ranked near the top. Attack on Titan is fucking perfect. It's utterly brilliant, everything about it. Let's just start with the music, why not? In the earlier seasons, you get stuff like this, you get this track, which is just amazing, and just gets you so into the world. And then by the time you get to the last season, you feel the dread of the world and the characters and all the chaos and tragedy that's beholden them. The show takes takes you on an unbelievable journey, starting the show literally contained in this tiny little world that's surrounded by walls with a simple mystery of these people-eating monsters, these titans that live outside the walls. The conflict and everything going on with it feels so huge, it feels monumental, and the fight and the battles feel so world-defining, and when we actually get to learn more about the world throughout the season, it just keeps getting more crazy and more mind-blowing. But all of the stuff in the first 3 seasons is perfect. Everything up until the battle at the wall, and the battle with the armor titan, and all of that stuff, perfect. It's just done so well. Commander Irwin's charge, one of the greatest things I've seen in my life. And then you get to the last season, and yeah, it took like 5 years for this final season to finish, but my god, is it so good. Taking the character of Eren and throwing him, flipping him on his head, making him the antagonist, and really diving into the lore of the world and the rumbling, and it just gets so good. And the morality of everything, and we get to the finale, which, I wasn't the biggest fan of the ending. I'm just gonna be honest. I think the ending could have been better, but ultimately I still think it is sort of satisfying, and a lot of people seem happy with it, which is good. And overall, this show is just a 5 out of 5, a 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100. I just have yet to meet somebody that's watched this show and said, oh, it's ass. Well, guess what, sir? If you're out there, you are ass. Go take a shower or something, you bum. Because Attack on Titan is fucking great. It's amazing, and I will not hear anything. I will not have it. I will not have anything else. So that's the video, guys. Make sure to leave your top 10 down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Turn on notifications and click the video on your screen right now. Also, I now have this weird subscription thing. If you guys want to help out the channel and support me a little bit, make sure to join or subscribe. I think it's like $4 a month. There's a couple cool perks, but at the end of the day, it will just be supporting me if you like my videos. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.